How's it going, Lazy Bruce's up? I'll be Sixkilla and welcome back to the Vigilant Villa. Now you remember we had some technical difficulties in the last episode. Ooh, I don't know why I'm talking so fast. The reason we had that apparently is because there was an update pending. It still needs the internet to run for some reason properly, but they said that a lot of this stalling networky issue is going to be fixed with that update, so fingers crossed we won't have that issue again. Because I actually thought we'd hit a bad end when we got reset, but it turned out it was just the network dropping out, and I don't even know why, because we've got a strong ass connection. It's not on Wi-Fi, obviously, it's connected. I upload from here, so it has to be connected. Let's just carry on, shall we? Emily. She stands next to George, looking extremely pale, and her hands subconsciously hold his arms tight. It's escaped my mind, she's not a professional forensic doctor, we read this. What about me? How come I don't have fear about such a death scene? I can't help but think of that strange photo of me. I can surely ask Emily to investigate the body with some sort of grandiose excuse. I know she'll suffer from insomnia, anxiety, fear, and endless nightmares because of it. Without her help, I may miss important clues, and may fail to discover the truth. Then we need her to help. Try to overcome your fear. We have to. That's not selfish. It's for the greater good, or something. If we don't find the truth, everyone will be in danger. She's a doctor anyway, come on. I know that I'm being cruel to her, so I'm avoiding her eyes with a guilty conscience. After a short while, she approaches the luggage step by step and slowly crouches down to examine the wounds on the body. Ah, we got clues. I mean, it's her responsibility as a doctor, right? To find out who done it, to check the body. There's a set of clothes seemingly prepared for today. And being a doctor, surely she's dealt with this kind of shit. Amy's body looks pale and twisted. There seems to be a lot of things looking unnatural. What should I check first? Face? She doesn't have any makeup, and her eyes have lost a lot of brightness, looking flat and lifeless. These are... I peel off the transparent stickers on her cheeks. As for makeup, sticking them on both cheeks can create V-shaped faces. I see. Amy looks a little bit like... Daisy stops in the middle of her words and lowers her head. Uh-oh. Disguise, love of beauty. Okay. There seem to be a lot of things looking unnatural. Hands. Amy's hands seem to be clutching something. I can't force it open. It's because of the cadaveric spasm. It's a muscular stiffening that occurs at the moment of death. Her hand gesture has been fixed since the moment she died. Hearing what Emily says, I carefully take out a piece of white cloth from Amy's hand. It's a piece of thick white leather. It feels like chamois leather. A piece of leather that is found inside the dead's hand. Based on the texture and softness, it looks like chamois leather. Used to, not sure yet, wipe stuff? There seems to be a lot of, okay, clothes. Her dress style is different from what we've seen these days. It seems that she changed her clothes to mourn for someone. Okay. Hold a memorial ceremony. Oh, she was burning the Gia things on that fire or whatever. Nobody knows when the luggage was placed here. A weird large cartoon box. Looks like it was prepared by someone in advance. There are two things I should examine. The candies? I take out a candy from the luggage and turn to ask the others. Have you ever seen this kind of candy before? I have. I saw it when I was little. I've had them as well. And they're no longer in production and I couldn't get them anymore. Mr. He and I are not from your generation. You never had those candies when you were little? I stare at the candy. The shiny and colourful paper wrapper must have been adorable to kids, but I don't remember anything about it. I had a severe disease when I was little. There are many things I don't remember well. Kind of candy no longer in production. It seems popular in the past. Leo and Emily remember seeing the candy when they were little. Cartoons. The cartoons look familiar. An image flashes through my mind. Pattern on the box looks familiar. It looks like a kitty cat. I wonder if Emily's come to a conclusion. Ask about autopsy results? The dead suffered multiple fractures on the whole body, indicating that the cause of death is falling from a high place. Did she get pushed off the cliff and then dragged back up? Can you confirm the exact time of death? I can't give you the exact time because the surroundings and temperature can interfere with the estimation. But based on the lividity of the body, I can roughly estimate the victim has been dead for at least 6 hours. Also, the cadaveric rigidity gradually appeared within 1 to 4 hours after death and disappears after 36 to 48 hours. That means the murderer can only put the body in the luggage within an hour after her death. That's right. Interesting. She fell. The available evidence we have is enough to reconstruct part of the truth about Amy's death. First of all, it doesn't actually technically prove that she was murdered, or technically someone stuffed her in the luggage. Doesn't necessarily have to be the murderer, but Amy was murdered. Before she got murdered last night, she was burning that thing for Jackie. Goddamn, the PTSD saving. Freaking me out, man. You know I hate that. Let's do it. Which thing on the edge of the cliff shows us what Amy was doing? This. Ghost money. Ghost money. Who are you gonna call? Ghost money. She was burning ghost money at the edge of the cliff. It was a dark night, and she was totally focused on the fire. Whether it was for redemption or for commemoration, she was too absorbed to notice the person approaching from her back. Next, what the murderer did was throw her off the cliff. She would have got fabricked. Maybe she was choked with something? Which clue on the edge of the cliff could help figure out the next move of the murderer? The dragging? What else has been left on the cliff? The high heel. Good. The murderer silently approached Amy from the back and covered her mouth and nose promptly. She struggled with all her strength in the beginning, but the murderer was stronger than her. The murderer dragged her to the edge of the cliff, leaving behind a clear trace. She started to suffocate and slowly lost her strength. The high heel dropped on the ground during the process. The last move of the murderer was... I don't know. What did the murderer do in the end? Throw her off the cliff, I guess. Or stuff her in the bag. What does this say? Cause of death? In the end, the murderer threw her off the cliff. How did the body under the cliff end up in the villa again? Who on earth brought Amy's body back up to the villa? The murderer, presumably, who threw her off the cliff that brought her body back. The murderer had access to the body. There wouldn't be any evidence left in Amy's hand. He's right, the body was brought back by someone other than the murderer. Why? I don't understand. Why did that person bring the body back to the villa? My eyes fall on Amy's distorted body in the luggage again. It's similar yet different to the scene of Mr. Gia. Luggage, candies. Unlike what was shown at the death scene of Mr. Gia, the murderer seems... compassionate? To feel pity and have deep sympathy for Amy. Different attitudes towards different victims. Maybe the more accurate word for the other than punishment should have been judgment. Amy's death has thrown light on some questionable points in the murder of Mr. Gia. The crimes haven't been committed by one person. Instead, someone is committing murders while someone else is practicing judgment. They're a team? I suspect it is the same person who set up the murder scene for Mr. Gia and brought Amy's body back to the villa. In these two cases, there are some things that belong to that deadly judge. Okay. In both those cases, the candy... Oh, sorry. Big size items must be prepared in advance. The box. Things that don't appear again must take some time to prepare. That? Shit. I'm being too hasty. The candy? Uncommon items must be... That one must be that one. Okay. Not so good, but you know, we got there. These things indicate that someone has meticulously planned all these. Emily keeps wiping the sweat exuding from her forehead. Her face looks pale, and even her lips have lost colour. You don't look well. Are you okay? George pulls her up and hides her behind him. Are you feeling sick? It brings bad luck to touch dead bodies, especially for girls. I don't know why, but I've been feeling powerless these days. Maybe I haven't slept well. Of course you feel powerless. You're being beaten by your asshole husband. Go and get some rest. You can't help us if you aren't feeling well. Emily, let me take you to rest a bit. Emily nods and goes to rest with the help of Daisy. After they're gone, Isaac suddenly says, She's been dead for more than 6 hours, which means she's been missing since last night. But that makes things even more weird. Isaac lowers his head, lost in his own thoughts. Then John explains to me. You see, you disagreed with us last night, so we didn't tell you. In fact, last night we were taking turns in groups of 2 to guard outside Leo's room. That means we were in the lobby. Whoever wanted to leave the villa would have been seen. Did anything weird happen last night? No. Last night there was a blackout. Daisy's sharp scream comes from the lounge. My heart is pumping rapidly due to that scream. What's going on? Daisy turns her head and points to our group photo on the wall. Look at the photo. The ones that are dead are missing? Yeah. Amy and Jackie are no longer where they were in the photo, leaving 2 empty places. They've disappeared from the photo as if they've never been there. Outside the window, a wind blows and the mist clears. The open window creaks when the wind blows through them. Creak, creak, creak. The unsettling noise slowly repeats itself over and over again. We shouldn't live in this villa anymore, John says abruptly. It's way too odd. Old villas like this could be haunted. Who knows what might have happened here before, or who might have died here. Now we have 2 more dead people. Maybe there are more dead in this villa than all of us together. The air here is pretty gloomy and chilling. There must be ghosts wandering here. You better take it seriously. John hastily takes out a bead bracelet and turns it in his hand, chanting at the same time. Someone must have plotted it. It's you, isn't it? George accuses Daisy in a high-pitched voice. Daisy immediately shakes her head in denial. No, please, it wasn't me. I don't know how it happened. You took the photo. It's a piece of cake for you to plan all this. Hey, tough guy, stop bothering that girl. If there is indeed any spirit in this house, come and get me. I ain't scared of anything. Don't say that. Almighty spirits, please forgive him. Their quarrel gives me a splitting headache, and it's getting worse. My medicine. My vision goes blurry. I hastily take out my medicine. Take the usual dose. Don't overdo it. The noise around me is like dark tide water. It drowns everything in it. The medicine is taking too long to work. The world is becoming twisted. I feel that I've fallen hard to the ground, like a dead tree. And the dying body needs more medication for treatment. Ending a heart attack. Alright, let's do that again. Take slightly more. If I take a lot more, I'll die, right? Noise around me is like dark tide water. Am I gonna die again? This is what it said last time. I've increased the dose again. I'm growing more dependent on the medicine. The medicine is taking longer to work. The pain and sickness is gradually going away. Good. Alright, we survived. After my little episode, there's still tension in the air deriving from suspicion towards Daisy. Holmes! Daisy's voice sounds a little bit helpless. Trust Daisy for now. I don't believe in ghosts and spirits. There must be an explanation to it. Let's get Amy's body back to her room. We're back at Amy's room again. It isn't that bright in the room anymore. Outside the French window, dark clouds come down again. We've moved her body back to her room for now. I look around, imagining our Amy. Maybe they can help me find some clues. We've already looked for clues here, though. Painting. The painting in the room have a very familiar style with the other paintings in the villa, all surreal. That one didn't count as an actual clue, though, apparently. The book? These books? What do we got? Most of the books on the shelf are inference books. Only one is different. There's a book seemingly different from the others. Check how to be an elegant lady. There's a photo in the book. The woman in the photo resembles Claire. Why does she have a photo of Claire? Good question. Claire's a jerk as well, so I don't know. There's a bag of candy under the pillow. It's different with the candy beside the body, but it's enough to prove that she loves sweets. That person knows it too. She loves sweets. Maybe the murderer knows that well. This is weird. As the owner of the villa, even if she doesn't stay here very often, there should be more personal belongings. Maybe there are hidden clues that I haven't discovered. I lift the mattress and there lies her secret. It states that Amy has been hired as the villa's housekeeper. The terms include maintain and clean the villa every day and conduct regular checks on all assets. The villa is not open to guests during the stormy season when the path leading up the mountain is dangerous. Take good care of the spare keys. If anything in the villa is damaged or lost, it must be repaid for its original charge. The duration of employment is 1 month. The salary will be triple of the highest level housekeeper's salary. There's a copy of Amy's CV behind the service contract. She doesn't own the place. She's just a maid. Age 26, date of birth 27th of January. Previous occupations, one of the actresses of a Diet Tea commercial, acted as the lead actress's colleague, servant, and an innocent who was hit by a car in a TV series, salesperson of luxury stores, receptionist of private clinic, etc. What does that mean? Amy's not the owner of the villa. She's been pretending. Well, she's never going to have to deal with it now because she's dead. Everyone's stupefied. Revealing Amy's secret is like lifting a carpet from the side, only to find the floor underneath already rotten and decayed. Her CV says that she was an amateur actress for some shows and has worked as a salesperson in luxury stores. It isn't that hard for her to act rich. But what for? For vanity, of course. I noticed something wrong about her the first day I arrived. Nobody else noticed anything, am I right? She was turning the gem ring on her finger while she introduced herself. I noticed that it was fake in less than a second. I thought she wore that because she didn't want to risk losing the real one. That's what many people do, but I didn't know that she's a fraud herself. Was it really that simple? George snatches the service contract from me and frowns while browsing through the terms. There's something wrong with the contract. We have a senior housekeeper at home, but the salary is less than 1/3 of what this contract offers. Providing such a high salary for this job is unreasonable. Cut your crap, maybe they're just a lot more loaded than you. That's not the only problem with the contract. The contract says the guests are not allowed during the stormy season. The date on the contract and the sanitation record on the notebook can confirm that Amy came here only 2 weeks ahead of us. But I booked the room before Amy came to the villa. What about you? I look at John and Claire. John is still looking at the temporary contract beside George. We booked the room about the same time you did. That means the person who accepted my reservation is not Amy, but the real owner. The owner of the villa is self-contradicting. There must be something wrong. If Amy's not the owner of the villa, then who is? Can it be Uncle Zong? Uncle Zong, that name sounds familiar. Amy brings him up very often. We're just not sure whether he's real or fictional. He could be made up by Amy. Silver grey lightning in the sky casts a bright light through the French window, which then falls upon the body and the luggage. You put the body back in the luggage? The room goes back to normal for a second, and then the loud thunder follows, roaring to us. Only by going to Amy's real room can we find the useful information. Her room is... I don't know. Floor 2 is for couples, so it must be floor 1, right? 101? Amy's the housekeeper, so room 101 for Uncle Zong is her real room. Where Daisy is living right now is Amy's real room. Go and check Daisy's room. Daisy's room is relatively narrow and tiny. Many things have been locked up. I thought Uncle Zong had locked them up before he left. Only those are mine. She points at the luggage placed in the corner. There may be some vital clues in the room. Well, there you go, like one of these things. You know I love these things. And these things. I don't know what we're going to do with all these things, but I've picked up a lot of these things. I think there's another one. Can I take this? No, can I take this? There are some magazines. Based on the covers, they have very familiar kinds with obtrusive magazines in the villa owner's room. Looks like Amy took those magazines from here. Yeah. Drawers. Heat pump. I do love a heat pump. Light a candle. TV. This thing. Lamp. Bed. Bed. Nothing under the bed. That proves the owner's room's serious OCD even more. No other valuable clues are found. Oh, here, what is this? I checked the lock on the cabinet. It requires a 4-digit code. 4-digit code? Maybe I can try with Amy's birthday. Shit, I don't remember what that was. Can I look at the thing? I really wish I could look at the thing. What was her birthday? January 27th? No, it can't have been January. 27th of something, this one. It's open. The lower part of the cabinet has some cheap cosmetics, some household products, and an iron box. What's the iron box about? The iron box looks weird. A sealed syringe tube lies in the iron box by itself with some white powder in it. The label says potassium cyanide, 5.5 grams. It's potassium cyanide. What's that? It's a deadly poison. A tiny bit is enough to take your life. John covers his nose instantly in disgust. We need to dispose of this as soon as possible. Why would Amy have a deadly poison like potassium cyanide? I think it's quite obvious she didn't prepare this to eradicate rats. It's clearly meant for poisoning someone. What a homicidal villa. Shut up, John. Holmes, I remember something. Amy has come here to look for something left by Uncle Zong. You meant that she opened this cabinet? Yes. When was that? Did she take anything? On the first night, she told me that she wanted to get something left by Uncle Zong. I left the room first and didn't pay attention to what she took. The impromptu arrangement has clearly ruined her plan. She didn't have time to take her own belongings. The only thing worth coming back for is the poison. But why is the syringe tube still in the cabinet? I hold the syringe tube upright and the needle downwards and flick it on the side so the white powder can drop to the bottom. The potassium cyanide is somewhere around the 1.2 ml mark. Maybe this is left over as backup. She's already taken the dose she needed. Who knows? The so-called hostess of the villa, who looks picky and ostentatious, turns out to be an amateur actress. And her beautiful face hides a secretive intention to murder someone. With the heavy rain pouring down, I raise my head to look at the faces crowding at the door. Standing in the shadows, they are either horrified, numb, lost in thought, or burdened with a guilty conscience. What about them? What secrets are they hiding? Chapter 3 is over. All over, Red Rover. Chapter 4. The 11th person. This new update they did last time, it is running so much better. Before it was so dodgy and it seemed like it was going to crash all the time. Now it's running perfectly. I'm pretty stoked. The last ray of light has sunk into darkness. The night is about to fall upon us, along with the rainstorm. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light. Not so attractive dinner lies on the long dining table. Outside the window, dark clouds spread across the sky. The feeble candlelight shakes inside the room, making shadows on the wall oddly twisted. 8 people sit around the dining table thinking about something in silence. John keeps turning the bead bracelet in his hand, his hoarse voice sounding like mosquitoes buzzing in my ears. Shut up! Stop buzzing in my ears like some fucking mosquitoes. I'm releasing the souls from purgatory. There are too many wrong souls in this house. We can't live in peace with them if I don't do it. Save it. Why would you be afraid of that which, if you haven't done anything wrong? Sounds fair, but killing needs a motivation. You're the only one here who knows it. You're the delivery driver of this villa. You know her, and you know this villa very well. Right, you've delivered things before. You must know the owner of this villa. Sorry to let you down, but I've only worked as a delivery driver for 2 weeks. I'm only responsible for odd week delivery. And I've only met that woman twice, including this time. How would I know if her identity's true? I've never heard of a poison named potassium cyanide, let alone obtaining it. However, it must be easy for a doctor to get potassium cyanide, right? I merely know about it, and it has nothing to do with my profession. If I'm under suspicion because of my erudition, then I dare not say anything. Quarrels and doubts are unsurprising to me. I feel worried? If I can't find the murderer, the situation will only get worse. And they won't trust me anymore. They'd like to be the detectives themselves. But the key information coming from their quarrels cannot be ignored. About the even week delivery driver. What's the even week delivery driver like? An ordinary person who's been working here for more than a decade. I don't know much about the person. It seems to be hard to get more information about the even week delivery driver. I rub my convulsive temples. I must find out the murderer because... to protect the others. The one who judges others without authorization has prepared a lot. The person won't give up easily. If I can't find him as soon as possible, I'm afraid there'll be another victim soon. The air is uneasy. Quarrels and doubts seem to have no end. Speaking of the knowledge of poisons, a mystery novelist like you must have it at your fingertips. Are you suspecting Folmes? You should at least prove yourself innocent before leading us to find out the murderer. What if you are the killer in disguise? A clean hand wants no washing. This detective is the murderer? I can't think of anything cornier. Think about it. Without Folmes, all of you would be in a total mess. Hey, what the hell are you quarrelling about? Will you just cut it out? Just like what you did to me last night. Take a show of hands. Agree. I pick Folmes. He'll help us find the answer for sure. Daisy's the first one who raised her hands firmly. Then Leo, Claire, John, and Isaac successfully raised their hands as well. And he's still the one in charge of this. 2 people died in 2 days. We have a right to know everything. If you want to ask something, why don't you do it in front of everyone? I agree. It's related to the safety of every single one of us. It's not an excessive requirement, is it? Tell us about your speculation about the murderer. Telling them some of my speculations about the murderer might alert some people to increase their vigilance, but if I don't tell them, apparently there's no way I can continue investigating the case. Cause of death? There's some information we can get from Amy's cause of death. About the time of the crime. If we want to confirm the time of the crime, we need to start with the dead. Alright, here we go. No, shut up, I'm not saving. There's a clue that can confirm the dead's approximate time of death. That. Analyze. Based on Amy's time of death, we can confirm the time of the crime, which is last night. They know that. The time of the crime is last night, so I need to know what you did last night. There's no information we can get from Amy's cause of death. About the murderer's profiling? From the murderer's modus operandi, we can infer his appearance features. The corresponding clue is... Yes, I know. Which is a clue that can deduce the murderer's appearance features in reverse. Maybe they're covered in shit from dragging people. Presumably. That's it. The one who could drag Amy to the edge of the cliff must be taller and stronger than her. Amy is the tallest among all the women here, so the murderer is most likely to be a man. They probably assumed that. The murderer is a male. He has the absolute advantage over Amy in physical strength. Telling them some of my speculations about the murderer might alert them. Okay. Murder weapon? The 2 tools involved in this case are... So my transparency needs to be above 70%, I assume? The murderer used 2 items. They are... this. And the box. Right? Good. That's it. As a murder weapon, the cloth was prepared in haste, while the luggage and candies were carefully prepared in advance. A murder weapon caught by the victim in haste, carefully cleaning the victim's wounds, and symbolic candies stuffed into the luggage. These are 2 entirely different criminal minds. Okay. We're looking for 2 people. The one who killed Amy is goal-oriented, but he was in a hurry, therefore leaving many tracks. The other one, who was moving the body back to the villa, is cautious, leaving few clues. A clue I've disclosed seems to have alerted the murderer. Let's talk about what everyone was doing last night. The murderer committed the crime last night? It's absolutely impossible. Unless there is the 11th person who isn't in this villa. Or there are ghosts taking lives. Surprisingly, everyone supports that theory. Makes me more curious about what happened last night. Last night we were divided into teams of 2 people, to oversee Leo. Anyone who leaves the villa would have been seen. Let's start with how we assigned the overseers. I was the one who assigned the overseers at that time. As I remember... Day 2, 10 o'clock. Leo's room is locked up and then George puts the key away. Although the murderer has been locked up, I suggest we guard the room in turns for the sake of everyone's safety. I agree with Mr. He. Don't look at me, I'm with Folmes. I don't agree on what you suggest. Daisy turns around and goes back to her room first. We're going back in time more? That was ahead 10 minutes. 6 people sit on the couch in the lounge. Amy takes out a pen and paper. We'll be divided into teams of 2 to guard the place. Each team guards for 2 hours. I'll arrange for the first half of the night for the ladies to guard. Let the gentlemen bear a bit more burden and guard the place the later half of the night. The first team will guard from 10 till 12. Who wants to join this team? Me. Early shift, early sleep. I can't stay up late. Well, one more person to guard in the first half of the night. Claire picks up her coffee, sips at it, and slowly puts it down. I'll take the latter half of the night. I have insomnia anyway. John takes a look at George and replies immediately. Claire has insomnia indeed. Miss, let he take the first half of the night and I'll be with Claire in the latter half of the night. Let's put us on 12 till 2. Then Amy and Emily are on 12 till 2. Isaac and I will be on 2 till dawn. I get up early, so I'll take your place when I get up. Any questions? No one poses a question. Then that's it. Okay. Let me know where everyone was. Outside the window, the dark clouds are gathering lower. A rainstorm is coming. Ask about Leo. Do you have the key to Leo's room all the time? I've been carrying it with me all the time. I tied it tight. He couldn't get out by himself. The candlelight on the dinner table flickers ceaselessly. About the members of the shifts? So Emily was with Amy yesterday. Yes, it's me. Did Amy do anything strange last night? No, but if there's anything that could be considered strange... What? 10:30. I remember after we got the shifts done, we went back to our own rooms. So did Amy, and it took her 5 minutes to go downstairs. She changed her clothes, in particular, and removed most of her makeup, making her look plain and neat. I thought that's how she would what she would do before sleep. Now that I think of it, she did seem to be preparing for a memorial. Here I am, I can't play with my mobile phone without a signal. Life becomes so boring. But I brought 2 magazines. Do you want to read it together? Sure. Amy chats casually with me while flipping through the magazine. As a rich lady like you, what brand of clothes would you like to buy? I don't know much about the brands of clothes. Alright, but based on the fabric, your clothes would be bespoke. Huh? Does your husband give you what he earns? I think so, yes. But I've never calculated on purpose. I've had enough money. I see, I do envy you. You're so lucky to have such a wonderful life. So are you. You're beautiful and unrestrained. Yeah, I envy the life I'm currently living too. Could you help me get the breakfast ready tomorrow? Sure. It's very kind of you. Tomorrow's breakfast will be bread and fried bacon. We don't have much food left. The meals will be simple. Oh, the milk is about to expire. How annoying. Recollection's always subjective. Some information might have been left. Ask about what Amy said. The conversation reinforces 2 things. The first one is that Amy was murdered. The other one is Amy's yearning for money. Yes. That much is obvious, although she wouldn't be pretending to be in charge of the place. 11:25. After nearly an hour, Claire finally comes down. Where are you going at this late hour? Going for a walk. Okay, don't go too far and be careful. I noticed that Claire didn't look well and staggered. As expected, she fell to the ground before reaching the door. Amy and I rushed over to help her get up. Are you feeling alright? God, you are sweating heavily. Are you okay? I'm fine. It's my stomach ache. Just old trouble. Let me take you to your room. Don't be so nosy. Why are you so stubborn? Don't pretend to be strong. You can do that after leaving my villa. My zone, my rule. So you have to do what I ask you to, otherwise, who should take responsibility if anything happens? Emily, you're the doctor. Take her upstairs and get some rest. I'll take care of this. I'll be fine alone. It's just a formality to go through. Thanks, I'll leave it to you. Let's go to my room first. I have some medicine for stomachache. Claire doesn't refuse this time. Maybe because she's too weak. Then I took Claire to my room to get some rest. Emily finishes narrating the situation that happened last night. Ask about Claire Yee's condition. Where'd you go last night, Claire? I don't know, anywhere. I just didn't want to stay inside the villa. Why? You should ask him. Claire turns to look at John with a cold smile. John's expression freezes for a second. Ask me about what? I'm warning you, keep your mouth shut. Alright, I'll just say it if you aren't willing to say anything. We had a quarrel last night. I couldn't stand being with this man even for one more second. He disgusts me. I can testify that. The villa has good sound insulation, but I could still hear them fighting last night. Emily finishes narrating the situation. Oh my god. Amy's whereabouts. Where was Amy after you left? She was still in the villa. At 11:25 PM was the last time Emily and Claire saw Amy in the villa's lobby. What were you quarrelling about, John? John's look becomes serious and nervous. Does our quarrel have anything to do with the murder? It's just a couple's business. Claire raises her voice and interrupts John. Couple? I'm just your mistress. I thought you were here to have a fling with me, but... Claire couldn't stop giggling. Then she takes a deep breath, lifts her head and looks at everyone. Do you know how he asked me... what he asked me for yesterday? With a scornful smile, Claire picks up the jade necklace on her chest. The oval jade glows green. It's old-fashioned, but big. He wants what he gave me before. John's face is getting darker. He gave it to me while we were in love. I thought it was valuable. I got it checked later. Guess how much it is? Claire pokes 2 fingers, gesturing 2. 200,000 yuan? You flatter him too much. 20,000 yuan? 2,000 yuan. Claire has been indifferent to everything, but now her voice becomes shrill and her words turn harsh. She relentlessly reveals the true relationship. The air becomes awkward. Only Leo responds to her. 2,000? Aren't you a bit stingy, John? Just let her have it. What do you know? That's the love token of my deceased wife and I. It has more sentimental value than its actual price. You must return it to me. John sounds a bit flustered and exasperated. Speak for Claire? If you really cared about your deceased wife, you wouldn't have given it to Claire in the first place. You've given it to her, so it belongs to her now. As soon as John hears this, his face turns red straight to the neck. In the twinkling of an eye, he rushes her. Hey, what are you doing? Are you gonna hit her? That's mine. I'll snatch it if I have to. Told you he was creepy. I told you. Daisy stands in front of Claire while Emily takes the chance and pull Claire away. Claire isn't scared. She keeps staring at John with a scornful smile. Hey, enough. No one has time to solve your problem. We have more important things to do. How could someone be so stingy to get back what he gave? I sold necklaces like this for 10 when I was a street vendor. Call me if you want one. John glares angrily at Leo, regardless of his image as a yes man. John grabs the glass beside and drinks the water like a testy buffalo. That's a weird thing to say. The jade necklace has provoked this quarrel. There's something odd. The jade necklace that makes John so emotional. It can't be that simple. No, there's got to be some reason. I withdraw my attention from this topic for now. Who was the last one to see Amy? I'm not sure if I'm the last, but she was gone when I came downstairs. Okay, we're going to wrap this one up here because otherwise it's going to go on for too long. So we'll enter George He's recollection in the next episode. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.